Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. I am here live on Instagram and I'm live on my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel. And let me know if you guys can hear me okay. But I want to do a little motivational, inspiring rant on why it's time to be yourself and it's time to be authentically who you are. And stop caring about what the internet thinks of you, what other people think of you, what your friends think of you. And it's time to do what you came to this earth to do. It's time. It's time. I am so motivated by this topic because this is something that I've personally gone through in my own life. Being on YouTube, sharing my personal life on YouTube for several years now. If you guys don't know, on Instagram, I have a YouTube channel called Helena Woods, my name. It's my personal YouTube channel where I talk all about lifestyle, slow living. Now it's authentic living because I have switched genres or themes. And you know what I've noticed today? I had a comment today that really inspired me. I'm feeling so inspired to talk about this. As an MG, as a manifesting generator, I respond. So I have to hear something or read something or see something. And then my generator self, my gut responds. And I need to talk or say or make or create or write in response to something I'm hearing or seeing or consuming, right? Those are generators and MGs in human design. But I saw this comment today and it was so inspiring. I'm going to take a bite of my pasta because, of course, I'm having pasta on a live stream because this is what we do around here. So I saw a comment today. And it was something like, you're such a snob now because you don't talk about slow living or whatever. You're traveling all the world, having fancy pasta, traveling the world, doing all these things, focusing on your work, building your business. And I'm like, damn right I am. Damn right I am. Yes. Yes, I'm eating pasta. Yes, I'm traveling the world. Yes, I'm building my dream business. Absolutely. I'm not going to say the F word because we might have children around. But just know that if there were no children around, I would be saying the F word. But anyway, I saw this comment today. And I think this might have been someone who may have followed me for years when I was in my slow living era content. And it made me think about the vegan YouTubers back in the day. The vegan lifestyle YouTubers of 2015, 2016. Who were the vegan lifestyle YouTubers? Let's talk about them. They were the YouTubers who passionately talked about their love for being vegan, their love for food, their love for nature and animals and all of that. And what happened? Well, they got older. A lot of those vegan YouTubers grew up. A lot of those vegan YouTubers decided they wanted to try meat at some point in their lives. Maybe it's been 10 years or 5 years, 10 years? It's been 10 years now, right? So these vegan YouTubers, they grew up, they decided to experiment with different lifestyles and different ways of living, different foods, different things, different habits. And what happened? The internet came after them. Why? Because they decided to experiment with life. They decided to try new things. They decided to live their lives for themselves and be authentically who they are deep down. And they wanted to try something new. They wanted to try to eat meat. And what happened? YouTube came after them. Instagram came after them. You see an online couple who's famous and they get a divorce. Oh, you can best believe that audience is going to go hard on that couple and be rude to them in the comments and talk about how they're divorced and how it's a travesty and everything that their life said was a lie. It was all a lie that they were together, right? Everything that they talked about online was a lie. Same with the vegan YouTubers. They're all liars because they changed their mind and decided to do something new with their lives. Well, you know what? That is what I call being human. Being human. As human beings, when we have the courage to be who we are and authentically live from our truth and change when we want to change and change our mind when we want to change our mind, when we honor that and we say that's okay, it's okay that I want to do something else. It's okay that I want to eat meat today. It's okay that I want to find someone new, maybe find a different partner that satisfies another part of my life because I've changed and I've grown or whatever. I'm not talking about me personally. I've been a vegetarian for 28 years and I have no plans on eating meat at all. Now we're seeing the tides turn and everyone's saying eat meat. I will not eat meat. Absolutely not. And my husband and I will die together. So I'm not saying this is about me, my personal life. I'm giving examples here. But there is this idea on the internet that if you become a character online, if you craft this identity of homesteading on a farm and living a slow lifestyle, being a vegan and being on the countryside or wherever and having this life, there is this idea that you always have to be that. And if you change, then that thing that I, as an audience member, I, as a follower, have loved you for, I've held on to that identity of who you are, and you decide to change, that is not making me feel safe. I don't feel safe that you, as a creator, are changing. That's what that's saying. It's abandonment. It's a fear of abandonment. What does this all come down to? The fear of change, the fear of people in your life changing. The thing is, you don't know these creators. You haven't met them unless you've booked a coaching call with them or something or a consultation. You don't know them. They're just people you see on the internet. But we as followers, we as consumers of creators' content, we become so attached to this cultivated identity of these people we see online that if they ever change, we become afraid of what that could mean for them, for the world, and for us. And that fear of change and abandonment is strong in our human DNA. Why do I want to talk about this today? Because I have changed. Because I have changed. I do not make content on slow living anymore, even though I wrote a book on it, even though I made hundreds of videos on slow living, even though a huge portion of my life was about, can you not hear the audio? No, someone else saw it. Bella says she's reading this and she needed to hear this. So I think it might be on your end, Guzman, Lucy. I think it might be on your end. Let me know in the comments on Instagram if you guys can hear this, okay? Just so I make sure. I have changed. And I've allowed myself to change. And you want to know when I was most miserable in my life? You want me to tell you when I was most miserable online? Was when I was still making content on stuff that I didn't want to talk about and stuff that made me resentful. When you keep doing things that make you resentful over your life, your passions, your topics, all the things, that's going to hurt you physically. You get tired, you get depressed, you get sick, your body starts wearing down on you. You start hearing about all these content creators on YouTube who get sick. Why do you think they're getting sick? Because they're burnt out. And why are they burnt out? Because they're on this content creation machine of keeping making content for people when they don't want to even make that content anymore. Why? Because they've changed. They've changed. 1 second. I'm going to turn off my shades. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. I'm going to have another bite of my pasta. So, why am I saying all this today? I want to give you the empowerment to be who you are. I want to give you the inspiration and the motivation to change and to allow yourself to change and to do something different, even when your audience, your friends, your parents are like, are you crazy? You're known for this one thing. You should be doing this one thing. You're so good at this one thing. You're so talented at this one thing. I want you to keep doing these things. We don't listen to that anymore. We are who we are, and we be authentically to who we are. We remain authentic. And authenticity is repellent because authenticity is the opposite of people pleasing. It's the opposite of doing what other people want for us or from us. We do what we want to do. We make content based on the things that light us up and inspire us. We do not make content for other people. We do it because our soul and our heart needs to do it. So, I saw this comment today and I was like, this is so good. Because I want different things with my life. I made slow living content on the internet for about 3 years. I was studying it for like about 2 years before that. Wrote a book on it. By the time I wrote that book and finished that book, I was done talking about slow living. I was done. Because you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to regurgitate content. I'm not going to keep saying the same things over and over and over again and getting burnt out. I'm not going to do it. And if that makes me unpopular, if that makes people think I'm a snob or they don't like me or they don't like my life anymore because I'm not relatable to their simplicity of slow living and they don't like that anymore, that's fine. And keep in mind, my love and my values and my lifestyle is still slow living. I'm still living with simplicity. I'm an essentialist. Less but better. Less but better in my life. I don't want more. I want less simplicity but better. Stronger quality. But here's the thing with the internet. The internet loves to categorize you and put you in this box of, oh, you're this kind of person, you do this type of thing, this is your aesthetic, this is what you're known for, this is your identity, this is how you talk, this is all the things that you're into. I'm going to put you in this little box right here. I'm going to put you in this little box right here in this little category. And that's what my brain is going to put you in that. Because, as human beings, that's what we do. We categorize. And it's a very helpful way for our brains to make sense of things in life. We categorize things. It helps our logical mind make sense and understand and process. The thing is, though, we are not machines. We are human beings with hearts and changing lives. We are growth thinking beings that are always going to change, and we're always going to want new. And if you don't want new, I would ask yourself, what are you either running away from, or where do you need more clarity in terms of your values? I would get a journal out and ask yourself, what needs to change in my life? Where do I desire to make a change in my life? Because it is so easy to get stagnant and stuck and just stay the same all the time. And obviously, for a lot of us, our personalities will differ, our temperaments will differ. We will be different. But that still doesn't negate the fact that we are growth-seeking beings that will desire change in our lives. And the thing about lifestyle content, it's like, okay, you're a vegan YouTuber, you're always going to be a vegan, you're always going to make vegan content. Okay, you're into slow living content, you're always going to make slow living content, and this is what I'm going to put you in my little box, in my category. This is what you're known for. F that. We don't categorize ourselves. We live authentically to who we are. And if that offends people and makes people uncomfortable with being radically who we are, if that makes us fear change and abandonment and safety, if that seeing someone change points the fear back to ourselves, that's the time to journal. That's the time to go inward. That's the time to go deep within ourselves and ask, do I fear change? Does this person change? Is this person changing, triggering my fears of abandonment and the fear of change? Like, is this person's life triggering that fear within me? It's time to get really, really clear about that. And that might be uncomfortable to do, but that's shadow work. And that's living a brave, courageous life of facing your fears and asking yourself, why am I triggered by people? What is the root cause of these triggers? And how can I go deeper within this to learn something new about myself? That's growth. Simple Deep Vegan said, I do miss seeing your slow living videos, but it's something you have learned and understood. And of course, you want to grow and change. Good for you and your authenticity. Please, we should not people please. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. This is what I'm talking about. Like meeting people who understand and connecting with people who understand the human need to evolve. And, when you allow yourself to be so authentic to who you are and you allow yourself to change and to morph and to shift and to want and desire different things, everyone else is off the hook. Everyone else's opinions of you and what they want from you just doesn't matter because you are living a life of freedom. That's freedom. Real freedom is not money. Real freedom is living so authentic to yourself and what you desire in life that everyone else is off the hook. There is no caring about what people think of you when you are fully free and authentic, doing whatever you want in this life. That is authenticity and that is freedom. And I think I've told you guys this. I've definitely told you guys on YouTube, but I don't know if I've told you guys on Instagram. Maybe I have. I probably have. I've been talking about it for about 2 years now. But I'm in my villain era. I think I'm kind of over my villain era now. I've been in my villain era. I was in it for like 2 years and I was making a lot of content on being in your villain era and what does that effing mean? Um, but what is a villain era? A villain era is when you allow yourself, you make peace with the idea of pissing off other people by putting up boundaries, by saying what you don't want, by saying that's not okay, by saying your comment is rude, you're blocked. You're blocked. I block freely and ruthlessly. And I used to not like that. I used to not like blocking. I used to not being snarky with people online. And then I went online and I was online for years. And then I realized, this the first few years on YouTube were really hard. Like they really knocked me down. I would get mean comments all the time, people criticizing my voice, people saying mean things about me and my husband and our marriage and all this stuff. And you know what it made me? It made me really damn strong. I'm really strong. And now nothing can mess with me because there's just this underlying foundational level of power and freedom in being authentic because I had to go through the breakdown of people not liking me changing and me feeling fickle or changeable or not stable to people who want me to be the same every damn day. And when I realized that it doesn't matter what I say or what I do, there's going to be tons of people that don't like me. Tons of people that don't like me. I could be the nicest, most generous person. I remember I had a client reading, an astrology reading. This was about a year ago. And this girl, she came to me and she wanted to know if she should leave her husband. She wanted to know if she should leave her husband and go for this other guy that she was seeing. And I'll never forget this woman. I don't have a lot of clients that really mess with my boundaries, but she was one of them. And she was so sweet. And so what I did was I went above and beyond and I gave her like an hour and 45-minute reading. My readings are 1 hour. I went 45 minutes over because I wanted to help her and answer any questions that she had. But she asked a lot from me and I just went above and beyond. I pulled out all these extra resources, all these different timing techniques, all these things. And I really wanted to help her and give her all her answers and clarity so that she left feeling good, empowered, excited, and clear. She ended up emailing me back, a couple days later, saying all these mean, nasty things about me and to me, all of which I was completely shocked by because I was so kind. I was so generous. I inspired her. I felt I uplifted her. I helped her. I gave her clarity. She walked away. She got off that call feeling so damn good, so clear. She said all these nasty things about me. And you know what? You know what the things she said to me, they were my shadow words. They were the parts of me that I was most afraid of, the parts of me that I feared the most because of, I don't know, seeing things online to other people or hearing things when I was a child, hearing my mom or family members talk about other people, gossip about other people, say mean things about them. So subconsciously as a child, I tucked away some of those words, put it in my subconscious. Those are my shadow words. Those are the things that trigger me hard. She said all of them. She said all these things that triggered my deepest insecurities. That client, that experience with her opened my eyes. Doesn't matter how nice you are. Doesn't matter how generous you are, how kind or giving or how much you inspire or uplift people. There are a lot of people that are very unhappy with their lives. They're miserable. They have darkness within them. And if you don't believe in darkness coming into people, it's a thing. And it's why we have to be the light. We have to always be the light, be love, be connection, be community, be one with one another. And I will preach this till the day I die. Love is the only way. Be the light. But there's a lot of people out there who have darkness within them. And we're seeing that in the astrology community right now. We're seeing a lot of people in the astrology community who are they're in the occult. The astrology it's an occult subject, okay? And oh, thank you. I know I love my earrings too. I got them in Iceland. They're like my favorite pair of earrings ever. I saw them. They were very expensive, but I was like, I have to get them. Like, I've never felt this way about a pair of earrings. They're so cute. Thank you for the comment on Instagram. Someone asked, I think you're in Japan. Where are you now? I'm in Metz, France. I'm at home. I'm here for one more week though. I'm leaving. I'm getting off the Saturn line again. I'm not staying here like more than a week. No, I'm not doing it. I'm going out to my Jupiter line because I'm not going to be here anymore. But we're moving in 3 weeks. Officially, my husband and I are leaving this area. I love my house, but I don't like the Saturn line, the Saturn transit. It's like I'm so close to my Saturn line. It's been really rough. Every time I'm here, it's rough. But what was I gonna say? What was I saying? So the thing is, there's a lot of people out there who have darkness in them. I believe we are all born in light. We are all born in love. I believe we come to this earth with kindness and love in our hearts, but we work in the occult, right? We're astrologers. We work in the occult. This is what we do. And a lot of astrologers, they turn to the dark side. A lot of astrologers, they go deep into the darkness of these things and they lose themselves and they lose the light and they lose the love. And then they start spreading fear online. And we have to always remember to be secure and foundational, be grounded in who we are. And that means being authentic and being connected to ourselves and allowing ourselves to change whenever we want, but doing it from a place of light, doing it from a place of love, doing it from a place of elevation and growth. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the snobbery of slow living and the snobbery of online social media lifestyle content. There is this sense of superiority and thinking you're above people when you are making lifestyle content. I've noticed online. If you're in the slow living space, you might think like, oh, my lifestyle is better or whatever, or like being frugal is a better way to like work with money. Or maybe you think the opposite. Maybe you think, your abundance mindset is better than people who don't think that way or more frugal or something, right? I've just noticed that the thing that I am starting not to like anymore about being online is like I love slow living, awakening souls. I love slow living, but I don't talk about it because I've integrated it. I've done it. I am it. I don't need to talk about that on social media anymore because it's like it's integrated. I find that the things you talk about online are the things that you most need to know or you're going through. Right now, I am on a journey of finding home and finding places and the energies of places and activating the energies and storylines of places, which is why I'm on a journey of astrocartography right now. Who knows where I'm going to be 10 years from now? Looks like in my 40s, I'm going to be doing something completely different. My 50s look like I'm doing something completely different with my life. But the thing about this snobbery that I'm seeing with lifestyle content online is like there's this holier than thou energy of thinking that you're better if you're pursuing one type of lifestyle over other people who are doing something different. Whether it's Christianity or religion, right? Living a Christian girl life, living a life of manifestation and like law of attraction and law of assumption content, astrology, slow living, minimalism. There's all this like, my way is the way. My way is the best way. F that. Do what works for you. Forget what other people's lifestyles are and ask yourself, is that right for me? And if something is not right for you, unfollow if you don't want to. Unsubscribe if you don't want to. Maybe that person will change and talk about any other type of content a year from now, and then you might want to resubscribe later on when they're doing something else. But give yourself the freedom, the permission to allow yourself to grow and allow other people to grow too and to evolve too. When you are so snobbish and elitist about your lifestyle being the best, and I'm talking to all the food people out there, I'm talking to the vegans, the vegetarians, the meat eaters. I'm seeing that everywhere these days. Oh, you need to eat meat. You need to eat meat. It's the only way. No, no, no. That's your way. That's not my way. Same thing with slow living. Same thing with being a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for 28 years. You will never see me making content saying that your way is not the best way, that you need to not eat meat or that you need to stop eating animals. You will never see me say that or hear me say that. Why? Because I don't believe that. Charlie Orange says you need to eat cherries. I'm a cherry pusher. I love it. I'm a cherry pusher. Oh my god, I think of Mean Girls. Oh my god, I love that so much. But do you know what I mean? It's like I never judge people for eating meat. People all the time ask me when I have dinner with them, is it okay if I eat meat? I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what you eat. Who cares? It's your body. It's your choice. Do what you want. Do what makes you feel fabulous. I'm always in support of people doing what works for them. Same with children. You want children? I'm so excited for you. Oh my God, this is amazing. Do I want children? No. But what I want for my life, I have no judgment about what anyone else is doing with their life. And I just feel like in this world we're living in, it's so divisive right now. So divisive in every way. In every way. Lifestyle, big time. Look at where you're judging people. Look at where you're casting judgment. Because that is what is you need to look at the most, honestly. Anytime I notice that I'm judging people, I like stop and I like look at that. Judgment to me is truly like just like one of the worst things I think we cultivate as people. Because what does judgment do? It turns into hatred. It turns into bigotry. It turns into assuming that people are like a certain way. It turns into stereotypes, like stereotyping people. Oh, you're a vegetarian, you're probably like this. Oh, you're a Christian, you're probably like this. Oh, you believe in manifestation, you probably live this way. Oh, it's so toxic. It's so toxic. When are we going to start looking at ourselves in the mirror and just looking at that? Why are we casting judgment? The snobbery of social media lifestyle content. I could go on about this all day. This is why I stopped talking about slow living, is because I noticed this rise of people judging others for not having a homestead, for not being a minimalist, for wanting luxury and simplicity. You know where I'm at in my life? I desire a lot less, a lot of simplicity, a lot of freedom, but I do want luxury. I do want nice things. I would rather buy one pair of boots, hiking boots that are $400, but they last me 10 years than a pair of hiking boots that cost me $50 and are broken the next year. That's just my life. I will never tell anyone what they should do or cast judgment on what other people should do, but that's what I want. And I freely allow myself to change. I never thought I would want luxury, but I do. I want nice hotels that they bring me room service and they say, "Hello, Miss Helena, how was your day?" That's what I want. And I'm not afraid to admit that. And I think when you own who you are and you allow yourself to want what you want and you allow yourself the freedom to change and to be yourself, that is so powerful and it's so freeing and it's so magnetic. And when you are so authentic to who you are, you inspire other people to be honest with themselves. People pleasing is the opposite of truth. It's lying. People pleasing is lying, because if you say like, "Oh, I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to do that for you. I'm more than happy to do that extra thing for you," but you're not happy about doing that, you're lying. You're actually lying. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to them point blank. When are we going to start owning what we want, owning what we feel, saying what we want, and like allowing that to be as it is? No need to apologize. No need to give reasons for why you've changed or why you're different. I find on myself, I still do that sometimes. Like sometimes I noticed, I did this like a year ago. I made a video about child free by choice and like why I really stood in like what I wanted, but there was no judgment toward other people. I don't care what anyone else does. I really don't. It's like what my personal opinions on my own life were and standing up for women who are child free by choice. But I noticed that in that video, I started like saying why, like, why am I choosing this? And I'm like, why am I doing that? Why am I giving reasons for why I want what I want? I don't have to give any reason for why I want what I want. I could just say, I desire this, period. I don't need to owe anyone an explanation. And one of the things I felt really called to do is I don't want to make slow living content anymore. Bailey asked, do you still think it's important for money to be the most important thing? No, I've never thought that. I've never thought that money is the most important thing. It's absolutely not. What's the most important thing? Living a life in true connection with your values, whatever they may be. For me, my values right now are self-expression, creativity, freedom. Contribution is big. Contribution's big for me. No, money is not. No, not at all. I'm not a money hungry person at all. If anything, I'm very happy with where I'm at, and I think the ultimate sign of peace and freedom is when you get to where you're at and you're like, I don't need to keep growing money. Like this is good. I'm happy. I'm at peace. What I do desire is I want more contribution. I want more impact. And I know that's going to happen. That's what I do desire. I desire more visibility and I desire to scale in a bigger way, not money wise, but in other ways. I want astrocartography to be literally everywhere because I think it will be. And I want to be one of the leading people to take it there. Because I think it's one of the most incredible things in the world. And it's insane that more people don't know about it. Sometimes I meet people, I'm like, do you know what this is? And like people are just like, they have no idea. And I'm like, oh my God. We gotta get you learning astrocartography. Like it's the most incredible thing ever. But for fun, like I never push astrocartography for people. I have tons of friends, like some of my best friends in my life. They don't believe in astrology. They think it's the funniest thing. They think it's so silly and stupid. I don't care. I laugh with them. Like I don't judge them. I don't think anything about, anyone who doesn't agree with what I think, because we're all on our own paths and we're on our unique journeys and we're here to live life that's authentically true to ourselves. Lish MCC on YouTube here, because I'm on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. She said, I got a reading based on my chart. Afterward, I left feeling fearful of traveling because of what he said. This is the problem with astrocartography and astrology content on social media. You want to know why? I cannot tell you how many clients have come to me booking a reading with me who have been to another astrocartographer, and the other astrologer said, if you go to this part of the world, it's just going to be a mess. It's going to be terrible. Don't go there. Don't live over here. It's going to be awful. It's going to be the worst thing you ever do if you go live in this part of the country. And I've had so many clients that have come to me, and it's a guy. If you guys know a guy out there who is like a really big, bold personality that is telling people you're going to have the worst time in your life if you go to this part of the world, let me know. Cause I don't know. I don't ask names. I don't like to I don't like to call specific people out on any things, but I am curious about who this guy is, because there's a guy out there who I keep hearing like a similar story over and over again from my clients. And I'm like, who is this guy? We should not be fear-mongering as astrologers. Absolutely not. We work in the light. We work in the light. We work for service. We work for love. We work for connection and contribution. That's why we do what we do. The thing about being an astrologer, there's a lot of freaking power tripping out there. There are a ton of astrologers who get on a power trip because they think they know the future. You do not know the future. You do not know the future as an astrologer. You can predict things. You can see archetypal themes of when things are going to be happening, but you can't you don't have a crystal ball. You can't say, "Oh, I'm a guru. I'm an ultimate person who knows the future." We don't know. As astrologers, that's ethics 101. We do not act like we are all knowing ever. Humility is one of the most important traits to cultivate as an astrologer or anyone who works in service for other people. Hey, Forever Floss. I talked about living on my Pluto line on my podcast. By the way, guys, I have a podcast called Cosmic Compass with Helena Woods, and you can hear uh, the Pluto podcast. So anyway, I feel like I've said everything I needed to say. I saw a comment tonight that really like it didn't even trigger me. It just kind of made me think like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that there are people like this in the world." People who think that if you grow and elevate and you desire change and you desire to expand in new ways and new possibilities and you want to dream bigger in your life, there are people who if you change your identity or even if you change something within you, they don't like that. They don't like if you change. And why I just want to empower you and inspire you to change if you want to change. Allow yourself the freedom to be authentically who you are and forget anyone who makes you feel like you need to stay in your little box and stay in your little category. You know, forget that. Forget that. Villain era time. We are who we are, and we allow ourselves to be who we are. Okay, so what else did I want to say? Oh, I wanted to also say this. You know, you may follow me for astrocartography content, but I may decide to do something completely different in 2031. In fact, it looks like I will be doing something completely different with my life in 2031. I could literally see like the trajectory of where I'm heading. And it's like grow, 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 2030, massive like peak, and then pivot. I'm doing something else with my life. And then like my 40s are a mess. And then I get to my late 40s, early 50s, and it's like ultimate peak of my entire life. And if I'm alive, if I survive during that time, during my 40s, it will be magical. But I can tell you right now, I will be doing something completely different. And I allow myself to change, and I want you to allow yourself to change too. And I have Pluto on my ascendant. So the identity is constantly in transformation, and I'm okay with that. And I also have Jupiter on my ascendant. So there's just a lot of faith and there's a lot of belief and all that. And yeah, I feel like this isn't talked about enough. This isn't talked a lot on social media about, especially for creators, for creatives out there, for people who want to be more visible, who want to be seen, but are afraid to. Um, I want to encourage you to just take one action every single day and do whatever it lights you up that day. And if your passions change, if your interests change next week, if you change your mind on doing something next week, change your goddamn mind. Change it. Forget it. Do what works for you. Be you. I will be changing a million more times, but I allow myself to change. And I will say it took me a long time to get here. I was never always comfortable with allowing myself to change. I have a cool story to tell you. Oh, let me get that. So when I was in, fun fact, and then I'm gonna let you guys go because I have a podcast interview. I love you guys in the comments. You guys are such kindred spirits. We built an incredible community. Incredible community. I love you guys. I do eat cheese and I do eat egg. Yes. I was vegan for 2 years back in 2013, 2014. I tried it. Couldn't do it. I didn't have any energy, honestly. And I think I may be able to do it now because I'm smarter. Like I know about protein more and like nuts and tempeh and tofu and beans and things like that. I'm like really on the protein. But I could be vegan if I wanted to, but I could change my mind at any time. I'm eating pasta, ravioli with a ricotta cheese and spinach inside. It's fabulous. And you know what I love to do? Butter, Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper. So good. Okay. Yes, let's hear it for your diet evolving with your body's needs also. Oh, yeah. So when Saturn was directly transiting my ascendant in France, I do not have Saturn on the ascendant, but in my relocated chart, Saturn moves to my ascendant and Saturn was directly on my ascendant. When that happened, my body was extremely weak. And I literally thought I would need to start eating meat. I thought I would have to because I had no energy and it was like really bad. Yeah. I love that, Lily. But anyway, yeah. So I thought that I would have to start eating meat. I didn't eat meat because I personally can't eat meat. I allow myself to change. If at any point in life I decide to eat meat, chicken, fish, I'll do it. Fine. I have no like I'm never putting myself in a box about what I should or shouldn't do. I will allow myself to grow, right? But I personally cannot eat meat just because I love animals so much, and I don't want to support violence for my own food, for my own body. Again, I don't care what anyone else does. Like it's none of my business. But for my own body, I can't, I don't want to eat meat, but I'm really big about allowing you, like, change your diet if you need to. If your body's needs are different at a different point in time, a different time in life, a different season, allow yourself to completely change your diet, your lifestyle, your beliefs, your choices. You know, I used to be the biggest law of attraction person on the freaking face of the earth. I started getting into law of attraction when I was like 10 years old. My mom made me watch The Secret, and I like loved it. Like I was getting into vision boarding when I was like 11. Like I used to vision board all the time. I listened to like law of attraction affirmations, Abraham Hicks when I was a teenager. Like I've been into all that world forever. And then I learned about ancient astrology, traditional ancient astrology from the Hellenistic period, first, second century BC. And I realized how much life is timed. And then I had my philosophical like crisis. And I was like, wow, what does this mean about life? What does this mean about death? Is our lives planned? Right? All of these questions that I asked myself. And now I've allowed myself to change my mind on things because I've learned a lot. I've read a lot of books, ancient texts. I'm open-minded. I'm incredibly open-minded. And I think if you have any Gemini placements or your Gemini and Mercury, you might be able to relate to me. But there's just this like I'm so open-minded. I'm open to changing my mind on things. I'm open to like learning and hearing people's opinions and changing stances on things whenever I want. I allow myself the freedom to do that. And I don't have judgment for people who change their minds on other things too. And I really don't get along with people who um just like aren't open-minded or like cast judgment if you believe a certain thing or you see life a certain way. Like I don't get along well with people at all who have an entitled, arrogant attitude of my way is the best way, like, or my stance, my belief is the best way. I don't get along with people that act like that. That open-mindedness is like everything to me. My Venus is in Gemini. It's what I value in other people. And so what else was I going to say? I think that was kind of it. Oh, but yes, I have a story to tell. So when I was in high school, I was an actress and I did theater. I was a musical theater kid. I did dance, singing, I sang opera. I was like really like good when I was young about doing theater and doing musical theater, acting, Shakespeare. I did it all. And basically, I remember leaving show business when I was like 21 or something, like 2021. And I remember I went back home and I remember seeing friends from high school and they were so judgmental. They were like, what are you doing? Like what's going on with you in your life? Like what's happening to you? Are you okay? Are you okay? Like is everything all right with you in your life? You just seem kind of a mess. All because I decided to leave acting and pursue something new with my life. And I looking back at the time, I was really triggered by that. I was like, oh my gosh, like so many people expect me to do something with with my life because I'm talented or whatever. I have this reputation for being known for this one thing. And if I change my mind, people are going to judge me or not like me anymore because I've changed my direction in life. And at first, when I was told that, I was really triggered by that. And then as I've gotten older, I've changed a lot more times. I've done a lot more different careers. I've done many, lived many lives in a very short amount of time. And I've realized, you know what I realized? I realized my changing what I wanted to do with my life made them feel unsafe because I've always been known as the go-to girl for that thing, that one thing, the musical theater girl that was going to be on Broadway, that was going to be in New York, and she was going to be this huge thing. Everyone knew me as that girl that was going to do it growing up. And there was a lot of pressure on me. There was a lot of pressure on me to be that, to do that, to show that I could. And when I allowed myself the compassion and the grace to allow myself to change my mind, to be okay with not being passionate about that thing anymore, I made other people uncomfortable because they saw how much one passionate person, someone who had so much zeal and someone who was so obsessed with this thing, it made them feel so uncomfortable that someone who was so into something could change her mind. And then if she could change her mind, someone who was the most go-getter, passionate, driven, all into this one thing, if she could change her mind, what does that mean about me? What does that mean about everything else in my life? And I realized looking back, I haven't talked to this person in years. Nothing, no fallout or anything like that, but I just haven't talked to them. I lost touch from high school. But I realized that that's a them problem. You judge people for changing their mind, that's a you problem. That's not a them problem. I mean, like the person who changes their mind, it's not their problem. It's if you're judging them, that's a you problem, 100%. And I'm all about kindness, but I'm also going to like say exactly how I feel, and I'm going to cut it right to the chase. I don't like soften things. Yeah. So anyway, a lot to say. Yeah, it can be very Asmita says sometimes it's hard as we get comfortable in a routine. Absolutely. But is routine the essence of life? The joy of living, is that in routine? I don't think so. Personally, I think the joy of living is presence and awareness and loving life and the simple joys of whatever that is. Whether it's the simple joy of a beautiful candle or the simple joy of some delicious ravioli cooked by your amazing husband. Or is this a simple joy of a flower that you see on the street from the cracked sidewalk? Or if it's the simple joy of ordering room service at your 5-star hotel and they just made the bed for you and put some beautiful little chocolate mints on your bedside table. Or if it's the simple joy of treating your husband to an amazing vacation. Or if it's the simple joy of going far and above on your dreams and making them happen. Those are all simple joys. May we never judge other people for what their simple joys are. Before I do what I do now, I made videos on the simple joys of life. My channel was called The Simple Joys. And if you believe, I'm talking to YouTube, not Instagram here, but if you guys on YouTube and you're following this channel and you miss that old content and you don't like this new energy of where I'm at now at 30 years old, a woman, and you watched me when I was 25 and I was a girl and I had short little hair and little bows in my hair and a little flower dress and different girl. I've elevated. I'm more me than I've ever been in my life. And if that makes you uncomfortable, if you don't like that I expand my vision and I'm on to new things in my life and I'm growing in ways I've never imagined and I'm happier than I've ever been, if that makes you uncomfortable and you miss the slow, minimalist, simple joys content, I'm not your girl. And I'm a big believer. I'm a big advocate for encouraging people to unsubscribe and get off my channel if that's what you want from me, if that's what you expect from me. But if what you value is authenticity and strength in being who you are and living a life of freedom, presence, and awareness and simple joys, but not judging other people for what their simple joys may be and allowing people to have different simple joys, then I'm all for that. I've noticed on this YouTube channel here that I've gotten a lot of rude comments from people in the past that don't like my content now. They don't like astrology. They don't like astrocartography, yada, yada. I've been dealing with the pushback on astrology for years on this YouTube channel, not Instagram, but YouTube. And that's just like, you're not my people. If you feel like you're really judgmental about astrology or any of this stuff, just don't stick around, please. Because I'm going to be who I am and I'm going to shine really, really effing bright. And I'm not holding myself back at all anymore. And that's going to piss people off because people get really triggered by authenticity and being really like grounded in your power. But I'm a Scorpio rising with Jupiter, Pluto, and the North Node on my ascendant. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, all that said, I wanted to come on, give a little empowering rant, but also a challenging rant, because I think we need to look more at ourselves rather than the rest of what other people are doing, other people, their lifestyle choices, what they desire for their lives, their simple joys. We need to stop with the judgment. And if we do judge them, unsubscribe, journal, go back to within, go back to your triggers and ask yourself why. Anytime you get triggered, go back to yourself, ask yourself why. Who taught me that it was unsafe to do XYZ? Who taught me that it was not okay to be, say, do whatever XYZ? It's time to be yourself. That's what this Neptune and Saturn and Aries is going to bring from us. And I, for one, am ready for it. Give me all the Aries energy every day. Love Mars. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I have to get I have a podcast interview coming up. But we have a cool comment from Lucy. It's strange if someone doesn't resonate that they can actually take the time to stick around and write critical messages. If someone doesn't like something, they just click off. I know. Well, that's how I am. If something that someone says really rubs me the wrong way, or if maybe there's no trigger or like something within me, maybe I just don't resonate with them or I don't vibe with them, I just unsubscribe. I just unfollow. I don't leave rude comments. I don't leave these long paragraphs and I don't send them personal messages and personal DMs and personal emails. I get them all the time from people that are so triggered by me just living my life, doing whatever I want to do and spreading joy and light wherever I go. Like I would never message people. I would never comment rude things. I just unsubscribe if I don't resonate with them. Move on. Move on. Life is short. Move on. It's interesting, right? Like, what do you get out of commenting? Like, what do you honestly get? What does it make you feel when you leave a rude comment? It's curious, right? It makes you realize, you know what being on the internet has made me realize? How different we all are. We are all seeing life through our own filters, our own perceptions, our own visions. And I think being on the internet, if there's one thing that being on the internet has told me, it's taught me is that we're all seeing life through completely different filters. We're all living life through completely different lenses of reality. And a lot of us are not seeing life through the same lens of reality. And those people, it's hard for me because as a Mercury and Gemini, I want to talk with everyone. I want to understand everyone's point of view. I want to get every side of every story. And so I can make up my own mind and my own opinion. But I would never leave critical comments of people. It's just interesting, right? It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I love psychology. I could think about this all day. Like, what makes them do the things they do? What makes them think those things? Where did they learn that? Where in their childhood did they get that? I should be a psychologist, really. I took psychology classes all through high school. I took AP psychology my sophomore year in high school. And then I took it again my junior and senior year, the basic psychology, because I couldn't take AP psych again. So I just took like beginner psych twice because I like couldn't get enough of it. And then when I went to college my first year, the first class I signed up for was Psych 101. It's like I'm obsessed with like understanding why people do the things they do. Why do they think certain things? And that's why I was an actor. I grew up wanting to be an actor because I was obsessed with like writing in the scripts, like what's the motivation of this person? Where did they just come from? What was their childhood like? What was their environment life that made them who they are? I was fascinated with that. That's why I got into acting and why I wanted to be an actor. And now I'm an astrologer. And so it's like, I see a freaking chart and it's like, everything's right there. I don't have to ask anyone anything. It's all right there in the chart. But it's also like, I love asking questions. Like I'm such a chatty communicator. I love talking to people and asking them questions. So anyway, and now I'm an astrologer. So it's like the psychology thing will just be lifelong. And I've got Venus and Mercury in the 8th house. So there's that. All right, guys, I got to get off. Just wanted to empower you, inspire you. What kind of mic? So I'm using the Rhodes podcaster mic, but I also have a Blue Yeti and I love my Blue Yeti too. But this one is good for travel. Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to go, but I'm going to try to pop on more here on YouTube and go live like maybe every week. I'm trying to get rid of the old audience that no longer resonates with me on YouTube because I make different content now. I've unlisted like 150 videos on my YouTube videos so that people don't find me for those types of content anymore. Like Please don't find me for this topic. I am not known as that anymore. The slow living content I've kept because it's still a huge part of my life and my values and what I resonate with. And so obviously I'm not going to hide that because it's such a huge part of who I am. But I'm basically trying to revamp this YouTube channel and like part four of this YouTube channel, new energy, new style, live streams. I just want to do live streams every week and inspire, empower, talk, chit chat. Even if no one shows up, even if I get one person who shows up, I want to come on every week and just be like, let's build a new vibe, a new community here on YouTube, Instagram. You guys know, oh, she's part of the old audience and she loves your stuff. Oh, that's amazing. I feel like I haven't met a lot of people who have been here since the beginning and are still with me now. I love when I do find people, though, that are like that, because it's like what that means is that the heart of who I am and what I've shared is the heart of, there's a reflection of you too, because we follow people who there's something within us that is similar. We see a reflection, they are a mirror to something within us. And so it's like when I would talk about other type of content like France or slow living, yes, those are the topics, but what was the heart of it? What was the heart of the message of it? The core of what was the most foundational, essentialist piece of it? And when you change, yes, exactly. When you change and evolve, they might change too, and they might evolve with you too. And I've noticed that for a lot of the people that I follow, that I followed for like 8 years now on podcasts and stuff, they have changed so dramatically, but I have changed so much too that I evolve with them. But I'm definitely in a phase of my life where I'm trying to get rid of not get rid of, because it's open door policy around here. Like, I'm happy to have you here, but it's more like the people who are critical, judgmental, or look down on anything that isn't slow living, minimalism, simplicity, simple joys of flowers. Even though I'm a huge flower person, but it's just like that energy is just not where I'm living my life anymore in terms of always talking about it and like making content around it every week. I don't have anything more to say on it. I'm already living it. I'm embodying it. I don't need it in my life because I am it. I am slow living. That could be another piece of content, the lives of slow living. Slow living myths. I think I already made a video on that like 4 years ago, but could make another one with a new energy of it. Anyway, I'll come on. I'm going to do live streams every week. So stay tuned, YouTube. If you're on YouTube, Helena Wood's channel, every week I want to come on and do a live stream because there's no editing involved. I have podcasts that I've made, but I have to edit them and they take time. And so that's why the podcast is delayed. But I like live stream because live stream is just like, it's fast, it's easy. I get in, I get out, I talk, I share the energy, but now I don't have to edit because I'm not an editing type of person. I'm a person that says things and does things and moves on. So, even if you look at my captions, there's typos in every freaking sentence because I don't edit. So that's just me. But anyway, I'll pop on next week here on the live stream. Bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube.